Okay, right, slightly different setup. Try not to disturb everybody. My name's Chris James. I'm the CEO of Steel Media, the company behind these conferences, as well as PocketGamer.com, PocketGamer.biz, PC Games Insider, Blockchain Gamer, and many other events. I'm waiting for my slides. There we go. There we are. There we go. That's us. For the last few years, we've been part of a bigger family, the Enthusiast Gaming family, and they run a whole load of properties in the game space, including esports teams. They work with sports leagues like NFL and NHL. They've got the Icy Veins PC website. They've got UGG, which is tools for League of Legends players. They've got also the Sims resource, the biggest resource and community for Sims players, which is amazingly huge still, despite not losing the game for ages, as well as things like Fantasy Football Scout and, of course, Pocket Gamer. They also have, there's examples of some of the things they do. They also have a thing called Addicting Games, which is going to be sort of entering the publishing space, mainly for kind of indie games. It's a kind of platform right now, but they're working on something in the kind of web shop promotion space at the moment, so you'll hear more about that later this year. Pretty much everything that they do and we do is about promoting, connecting, and celebrating the games industry, wherever in the world it happens to be, whatever platform it takes place on, or whatever genre you're making. Oh, hello. I'm loud now. Okay, that's good. I can hear myself, that's fair. And that's precisely what we're here to do for the next 2 days. So, talking of celebrating, I'm delighted to be able to say this is our 50th outing of PGC. Can we get a small woo? Thank you very much, that's good. Which means not only have we matched the number of US states at the moment, but it's also caught up to me. I was 50 this last year, so it is aging slightly better than me, however. This is our 5th outing in San Francisco. We started running events here in 2008, but our first conference in 2015. We've had 5 events on and off in San Francisco, 2 in Seattle, 2 in Toronto, and 1 in Vancouver. So it's our kind of 10th overall conference in the North Americas, which, as far as I know, is still a continent, not a country, but we shall see. That's changing. Any Canadians in? No, all boycotted. Yes, there we go. Well, I thought they were all boycotted, but fair enough. Anyway, if you've seen my presentation before, you know I'm a fan of sticking my face into PowerPoint pictures to demonstrate enthusiasm for the industry and deal with the challenges. I've looked back to the future. I've faced up to the Titanic challenges and typically been a bit of a cheerleader. That's what I looked for myself to do. But some of you, was anybody here from within London in our London show earlier this year? A couple, right. So sorry to repeat myself. So you may remember my introduction back in London where I joked about taking a note from a different US figure. And my whole plan there, the whole shtick was about making Pocket Gamer great again with a very, very catchy angle. And right then, I did this whole kind of presentation about how we're already running one of the biggest independent events series already, and that's true. 55,000 delegates, 11 years, 11 cities. This is the 50th event coming up. I talked about how we were expanding our planning. We're going to be this year, we're going to Barcelona, we're going to Shanghai, we're going to Southeast Asia, either Singapore or Thailand, to be confirmed. And will be other places to be decided. And I kind of joked, as part of my shtick, that we should maybe think about some new destinations. So I was thinking maybe we could do Pocket Gamer Greenland, or maybe we could do PG Connects Panama. I went on to talk about the mantle of another much-loved and not at all divisive US leader, who's still rumoured to be applying his unique genius to the games industry, but I said I'd do that in my own way. And I even made, so I made a little stupid hat as well, so make the games great again. However, it's fair to say that what seemed kind of timely, relevant, and broadly amusing back in January is a little bit more terrifyingly real now, so, and it's having impacts everywhere else. So I'm going to leave the politics there. Everyone has to make their own decisions. I'm not going to get involved in that. I'm a guest here. I want to enjoy the week in San Francisco. I don't want to get deported. But whatever your politics, I think you can agree that we're going through a turbulent period right now. It's been a very big period of global change in various ways in which things that used to work, or we expected to work, aren't going to be the same anymore. And that's very true of the games industry. We're certainly not immune from that. We spent the last couple of years going through considerable turbulence. Some of it was affected by wider global events, like post-COVID recovery, and Ukraine war led to inflation. The government mandates in China also had an impact, also some things going on in Europe as well. And of course, some are more self-inflicted, like Apple's IDFA Armageddon for mobile, and the continuing build-up of budgets and oversupply of games into PC console. And it is fair to say the last 2 years have been very tough. These factors have kind of led to as many as 40,000 people losing their jobs and studios closing. And that's not good. That's not something we take lightly. And we don't want to lose anyone from our games industry family, which is one of the reasons we, like many others, have established like a job seeker ticket and job seeker initiatives trying to help people. We'll do that. However, we were told last year that things were going to get better in 2025, that we had to survive 25, remember that? And so in January, just before our record-breaking PGC London, I decided to take the temperature of the industry and in a number of ways. I reached out to a few developer friends to see how they were feeling about things. And the responses were interesting. They varied from broadly contented to slightly concerned. Suffice to say, it wasn't all this positive, right? So I next perused some industry experts. There was a lot of industry expertise out there. I guess I'm part of that, whatever expertise I've got. And suffice, I looked at what was put out by people like GamesBeat, by Deconstructor of Fun, by us, by others. And I kind of pulled together some key trends here people were predicting for the year. Suffice to say, there's a lot of things mentioned, but here were some of the key ones. AI came up a lot. It's simultaneously a thing that was going to change everything, be an essential part of our business and life, get rid of all of our jobs, and also be ultimately disappointing. So that was kind of like Schrodinger's AI, that's everything. Subscription services were both brilliant, but also running out of money. Grand Theft Auto 6 will sell tons of copies, but also suck the life out of the rest of the industry, apparently. And continued consolidation will be good news for the big guys, but terrible for smaller studios. So generally, the tone of this stock was it was going to be small growth, but could still be a bit of a tough year. So I also took some time out to read through Matthew Ball's extensive state of the industry. Has everybody read that? It's very good. It's only 221 slides. It's quite light reading. So most of those slides, to be honest, at the start at least, talk about how the best years are behind us. I didn't get through all of them, but I did read most of them, and it is quite interesting. We also did our own survey, which was end of last year. That's available on pocketgamer.biz now. You can download that for free. That's across the industry survey. And again, that came up with some interesting feedback. It was generally positive, but it was kind of a little bit neutral as well. We had the highest ever response to one of our surveys for how you feel about the next year, neutral. It was like almost a third of people, which is quite interesting. So of course, generally the tone is like, yeah, it's going to be okay, but we're a bit concerned. Right, so predictions are meant to be challenged, and ideally made to look ridiculous. So whilst muted optimism of minimal growth does mark a change from last year, anyone who knows me will be unsurprised to say that I think it's far too conservative thinking. And so I put aside my Trump hat, and I'd like to return to the role of another much-loved American hero. I'm going to do like a visual here to help that. Does that look? There you go. So I like the visual gags. It always works. So this is Ted Lasso, of course, the champion of the underdog. And you like the tash? Good. You guys to laugh. So despite the challenges we're facing, the hits we've taken, the people we've lost, I generally believe this year could be, the opportunities that lay ahead could be the greatest ever for the games industry. So I want to talk a little bit about that, if I can. So a few key points. The games industry is big, let me tell you that. Last year, we were worth anything from 178 to 200 billion. Interestingly, I've done my own little annotation of Newzoo. Newzoo basically decided to tweak all of their numbers for the last sort of 10 years and bring them all down. So it's like the same as before, but a bit worse, like all my presentations. So they've done that. I'm going to have to take this off because it's really annoying. Sorry. Moustaches are harder than I thought. But yeah, basically, they scaled down the expectation from 184 billion, I think it ended up at, to 178 billion for last year. Mainly it was PC and console. They were down 10 and 15%. Mobile, actually, they jigged up. So mobile was about 98 billion, like 55% of the market. Mobile is the thing right now. Other people are more kind of positive. Statista which seems to have more faith in SEO, certainly. They're very good at SEO. I'm not sure about the data, but they're suggesting we're worth 500 billion plus, which is great if it's true. I don't think we are, but they are. And there's some interesting data from Magic, which suggests that the US, particularly, which is where we are, had its biggest ever year for games industry consumer spend last year. So that's great. All positive. We are the biggest creative industry. We are the biggest entertainment industry. Have been for a long time. Whatever data you follow, that is the case. Everyone wants a piece of the pie, from movie studios to sports leagues, subscription TV channels, music stars, and even newspapers like the New York Times. And other industries using our tech, they're focusing on the games as the hub of their content. We are everywhere. And even, like, as we know, the biggest stars from Hollywood are lining up to appear in our films. Not all of them are brilliant. Borderlands was less good. But, you know, there are some really good products. So we'll see how Minecraft goes down in a month's time. But, yeah, there's some really big... and these films are not only great to showcase our brands and our IPs, but it also has a positive feedback loop on them as well. We saw that Fallout drove massive sales of the original game. Crucially, we're a growing market. Despite a little post-COVID reset in 22, we've been growing steadily for over 25 years. And forecast for 25, like I say, shows return to growth. So even under the revised model from Newsy, they're predicting a jump up to 186 billion this year, en route to around 200 billion by 2027. And a few other people, like Convoy's the data is a little bit more optimistic. And crucially, our player base is growing. This is the most important thing. We've had solid growth this year and more expected to come in the next couple of years. We have almost half the planet playing games, and the percentage of payers is growing steadily. So not people not just playing games, but also spending money in our industry. It's what we get. And it's general global growth, obviously. Even though it's been a little bit flat in more established markets, MENA was the fastest growing market, again, 7.5%. LATAM, second, 6.2%. And Asia, still the biggest part of the games industry. China was actually the biggest individual country last year. Investors are returning. We've got loads of investors here this week, and obviously the entire GDC week, there'll be hundreds of them here. And they're back spending money again. There's been funds are raising money, and they've got capital to deploy. You can see here some data from Drakestar, which shows that last year grew on most metrics from the previous year, and generally it's going in the right direction. The first quarter has been incredible. It's going to be absolute boost. We've seen huge deals like Niantic being picked up by Scopely or Savvy, Triple Dot spending $1 billion almost on AppLovin's game portfolio, money being raised all over the shop, lots of smaller deals like Grand Games, Good Job Games, Reality Games, all raising smaller amounts of cash as well. So all across the ecosystem, money is coming in, which is great. And crucially, there's a number of forces or growth engines, as Matthew puts in his, Matthew Ball calls them, that make me think we're on the verge of a real golden age for games. Distribution revolution is a key thing. The hierarchy is being disrupted before our eyes. Apple and Google's duopoly in mobile particularly is being challenged by the courts. I have nothing against Apple or Google. They did loads of great work for this industry, but their kind of control is being opened up a little bit. New app stores are arriving fast. Epic Games have added to Aptoide, Huawei, and Samsung, flexing, distributing games across multiple stores. We've got new D2C. Web shops are a big thing. That direct-to-consumer relationship is driving real, not just kind of incremental revenue, but real engagement that's growing the pie. And on top of this, it's kind of related to this idea of gaming everywhere. I kind of mentioned a bit at the start. Everything is now a games platform. Telegram's a game platform. WeChat's a game platform. Discord is bringing games in. The New York Times has games in it. Everything, and even LinkedIn is bringing games in it. Everyone's wanting games, engagement of games as part of their experience. So the games everywhere, thanks to HTML5 browser tech, thanks to cloud gaming services like Samsung on their smart TVs and mobile, games is everywhere. There's some good numbers there. WeChat particularly is going crazy. So if you come to Shanghai, we're going to have a special session talking with Tencent about WeChat and how that works. Obviously, there's new tech to adopt. VR, MR, XR, getting more and more progressively great. And with those, I like those fancy smart glasses, I think will be the breakthrough. We've got a new bit of hardware this year from Nintendo, of course, the Switch 2. And AI is absolutely flipping everywhere. It's being used by people all across the ecosystem, from ideation to design to marketing to UA, QA, all sorts of things. The vision from some is that it will make entire games. It's starting to be used that way. There was that sort of flight game that's just come out. was made supposedly by one guy with the prompt, and Elon thinks he's going to make a game studio just based on AI. So maybe that will happen. It's not there yet, but potential for disruption is huge. And also, it's another good reason to cheer for the number of skilled people is shitty. It's bad people who lost their jobs, but there are loads of so much talent out there. If you're trying to build a studio, trying to scale up, there's a lot of talent available. And there's loads more reasons to be cheerful. Monetization, innovation, rewarded services, massive brand advertising coming in. Grand Theft Auto 6, the biggest game in the world, coming potentially at a much bigger price. And the future just gets brighter and brighter. The young generation, and I've got a young son, and more spend more and more time engaged in games than even we did. So, they do it in slightly different ways. It won't be the same models, but the future is definitely bright. And it's not just me saying this. Like I say, Matthew Ball, he identified these growth engines. If you look at nothing else in that presentation, which is free, I would look at the growth engine stuff. He identifies what drove the massive growth, particularly in mobile, about a decade ago, and what he thinks will grow it now. And some of those I definitely agree with. Eric Suffert, who is a bit of a mobile advertising and UA Svengali, he's usually quite taciturn, but he was very effusive, very upbeat and support and bullish in London this year, talking about growth in that market. As was Sensor Tower, who'll be talking shortly about their state of mobile. They'll deliver some more numbers, so I won't go through those. And generally, you can see it in terms of the games out there. We're hitting Supercell, big established companies. Actually, we had the biggest year. Scopely, with Monopoly Go, just goes from strength to strength. But it's not, and Dream Games going crazy. They're trying to raise $2.5 billion to go and grow. But also smaller things. Belatra, obviously, is a success story. Everybody loves that. Wuthering Waves, Capybara Go, Habby, always killing it. There is a lot of success stories to be inspired by, which is why I think this will be the best year in gaming ever. Thank you, woo. So help me with that. We've got a conference ahead, so I'll very quickly run through this. 10 tracks for 2 days, all taking kind of place here from 9:30 to 1 p.m. Do use your headphones. I don't know if it's all going to be audible like this or not. And there's a schedule in the little printed guides and on Meet to Match. And there's also round tables. There's 4 round tables over the next 2 days downstairs discussing different issues. All of these will be available. The videos will be available afterwards in the video vault, and it's got a ticket, and there's a schedule online. You can learn more about the speakers and stuff. Meet to Match is open for organising your meetings, and you can also put your kind of sessions you're attending in that. So do check that out if you haven't. We've got 850 of our delegates in there, and there's like 2,000 in total in Meet to Match, and you can meet any one of them here or anywhere else over the whole week. So there's 2,000 people if you've got your Meet to Match pass. And I think there's 1,400 companies in total in there, 600 of ours. Yeah, and a lot of them are games makers, which is as usual. The show is quite simple. Expo bits around the side, tracks here. Downstairs is the indie zone and meeting tables. If you're a VIP, go upstairs, a really nice VIP area, so do explore that. And we have fringe events. One's kicking off at 10, Investor Connector, Indie Pitch this afternoon, and then Publisher Speed Match tomorrow. So if you're part of that or you want to get involved in that, go to the desk and you might be able to maybe drop in for some of them. Of course, it's not all about work. We have fun as well. So tonight we have a party. Now, it says 8:30, but you, as a PGC person, can get in earlier. We're actually open. The doors are open at 7:30 to PGC folks. You can get in early and network, and then it opens a little bit wider from 8:30 onwards. But it was a good party last year, so I hope you enjoy that. And if you need help, ask reception or go online. That's if you're still on Twitter, you can hashtag PGConnects. We should get a blue sky. We probably do actually. To share, and the login details should be on your pass. Are they on they're on the pass, yeah, but they're there in case they're not. They're not. There's loads of signs, so yeah, but it's pretty simple. Those are the details. Take a photo if you need. And obviously, this thing doesn't come together. That helps. I need to say a few quick thank yous before I get off the stage. Thanks to our platinum sponsor, GME. Round of applause for them, please. Cool. This is so weird because I can't hear. And thanks to our gold sponsors, Fast Spring, Epic Games Store, Games from Turkey, and the Bill Kent Cider Park. And to our silver sponsors, World Winner and Bronze, Valuta, App Harbor, Sensor Tower, Listo, App Charge, Crazy Games, and Niantic, Eighth Wall. And to all our track sponsors, and to our associate sponsors, and to our media partners, and of course to incredible speakers who are giving up their time to share their insights here. And don't forget the Steel Media team. If you do see them around, please be kind to them. I know things always go wrong at events, but they're working really hard, and they're nice guys. They're very smart, very hardworking. And if you like this at all, or you want to explore some of the new regions I've been talking about, we'll be in Dubai in 2 months' time in May. That's the biggest B2B game show in Dubai. We're part of that, of their Gamescom type thing. We'll be in Barcelona. It's a brand new event, start of June. Beautiful time to be in Barcelona. And then we'll be in Shanghai in late July, just before China Joy. It will be very hot, but if you want to explore what's going on in China, which I would recommend, then drop along to that, and hopefully it's an entrance to the slightly crazy world of China Joy. We'll be at Gamescom with our Mobile Games Awards, and then back in Helsinki, and more events to come. We've got another event in Jordan in the Middle East, possibly another one, possibly one in Thailand, to be announced. So that is it. Thank you very much.